Henri Nouwen's The Inner Voice of Love is a profoundly intimate spiritual journal that chronicles his journey through anguish toward freedom. Unlike his more polished theological works, this book is raw and unfiltered, written during one of the most painful seasons of his life. Nouwen, a Catholic priest and internationally respected spiritual writer, found himself overwhelmed by despair, loneliness, and feelings of rejection. In these pages, he shares his inner dialogue, his struggles with self-doubt, his yearning for love, and his desperate search for God's presence in the midst of darkness. The book unfolds as a series of short meditations, each one a snapshot of vulnerability and insight. Nouwen describes the experience of inner darkness, where faith feels distant and hope fragile. Yet within this silence, he begins to hear a quiet, persistent voice, the inner voice of love, calling him back to trust, reminding him that he is beloved by God. This voice becomes his anchor, guiding him through anguish toward healing and freedom. One of the central themes is acceptance. Nouwen acknowledges the temptation to seek validation from others, to cling to external approval, and to fear abandonment. He confesses how deeply he longed for affirmation, yet how destructive that longing became when it overshadowed his awareness of God's unconditional love. Gradually, he learns that true freedom comes from embracing his identity as God's beloved child. This shift in perspective allows him to move beyond insecurity and toward peace, teaching readers that self-worth cannot be built on the fragile foundation of human approval. Another recurring theme is surrender. Nouwen emphasizes that healing requires letting go of control, resentment, and the need to prove oneself. He writes candidly about the difficulty of surrender, admitting that his instinct was to fight, to resist, and to cling to illusions of control. Yet by surrendering to God's love, he discovers a deeper freedom, one that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in trust. His reflections encourage readers to embrace vulnerability as a pathway to transformation, showing that surrender is not weakness, but strength. Patience also plays a vital role in his journey. Nouwen acknowledges that recovery is not immediate. It is a gradual process of listening, waiting, and trusting. He reassures readers that setbacks are part of the journey, and God's love remains constant even in moments of doubt. This honesty makes the book profoundly relatable, as it acknowledges the slow, often painful nature of healing, while offering hope that progress is possible. The journal also highlights the tension between solitude and community. Nouwen wrestles with the need to withdraw into silence to hear God's voice, while also recognizing the importance of supportive relationships. He warns against isolation born of despair, but affirms solitude as a sacred space where the soul can encounter God. This balance between solitude and connection becomes a recurring lesson, reminding readers that healing requires both inner reflection and external support. Ultimately, the inner voice of love is both a personal testimony and a universal guide. It speaks to anyone who has experienced anguish, rejection, or despair, offering hope that freedom is possible. Nouwen's honesty makes the book deeply human, while his faith offers reassurance that even in the darkest times, love is present. His words invite readers to listen for their own inner voice of love, to trust that they are beloved, and to believe that healing is not only possible, but promised.